Hello. Good morning. Welcome in to another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. It is the first day of December, year of our Lord 2025. You heard that right. Huddie, you heard that right. December. We've done it. We're here. No matter what you wanted for this year, no matter what your goals were, no matter if you've overachieved or underachieved, there's nothing you can do to change month 1 through month 11. They're gone. They're in the books. We are here 1 month ago to close out 2025. Pretty wild, eh?
No, it's a pretty wild intro.
How wild?
It was like the beginning of a movie.
Was it? Did you record it?
Yeah.
Use it
No.
Evergreen?
It's yeah, sure.
It always, every day we say the date, and most days it's just a date. Some days, first of the month, last of the month, days before holidays, it means a little more. And, where it's the cool thing about trading is we're all on a journey. We're on year 10 of our journey. Maybe we're struggling with consistency or sizing up. Someone's in year 1 trying to find profitability. Someone's in year 3 trying to continue their success that they've had. Every year means so much, I think, as a trader. And when you go through and you look at them year by year, there's all great lessons in there. There's years where you took steps backwards, where you've taken massive steps forward. In December, it just kind of feels, what's the word? Bittersweet, because like I said, there's nothing you can do. Whatever your goals were for the year, most likely December is not going to be the reason you do or don't hit a lot of those goals. That's the fun thing about trading, is that it really does benefit the consistent out there. The people can show up every day, even when it's June 4th or February 2nd. And here we are at the end of the road. One more month to do it. We're happy you guys are here with us. Viewership down a little bit, but we took some time off last week. We enjoyed the holidays. Huddie was traveling. I think Kyle was traveling. Weird day Friday where we just kind of have a half day sandwiched into a holiday weekend, but we're back, we're live, we're ready to go as scheduled for the rest of December, and we're excited to do so. How are we doing, Huddie?
Good, happy to be back. Honestly enjoyed I had some notes written. I enjoyed Thanksgiving. I enjoyed the time off. And it wasn't like, honestly, I remember back in the day, I used to go to Thanksgiving or Christmas, vacations or houses or whatever it was, parents' house. And I would spend the day trading, it really was hard to take off the first 5 hours of whatever times when I was on. That varied. But this year it was quite easy. And I don't know if that's just a byproduct of how simplified my trading is at this point and systematic it is in its nature. And or just the fact that the market was just horrible. But it made it quite easy to I looked at the market for 30 minutes every day. I made one significant trade. It was a good one. And then I was able to put the laptop away and not be on it, 'cause it didn't matter. The last 5 days did not matter. There was nothing that was gonna make or break someone's account. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a unique outlier out there. But for most people, these last 5 days were stupid.
The last 20 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The last 20.
Yeah, it made it easy to not really show up Friday. I decided to go do something else, go hunting.
If you actually track your trades and you look at the number of trades you made in November, and if it is at all near your highest month of trading, I would check yourself right there. That would be pretty nuts to me.
I feel like it should be 20% of your average. Whatever your
I think it should be. I think it should be your lowest month traded in terms of number of trades. But maybe everyone has a different strategy or whatever. So and even if you're not trading small cap, I mean, even the large caps are pretty dead. So even if it's not the lowest, if it's near the highest, then you should check yourself. Is all I'm trying to say.
Before you wreck yourself.
You already probably wrecked yourself.
Yeah. I think looking at, I was kind of going through my month yesterday, not a ton to go over, but having spoken, a lot of people in the Clover room at the end of every month, they got a nice habit of posting their screenshot of their performance and then a little write up on how they did in terms of what they wanted from themselves. And I think there are months where the data means something. How many R did you make? What was your average winner average? And there are months where plus 5R, minus 5R, that's not the key message. You should really be focusing on the overall environment you traded in and where you made mistakes, that where it feels like they're just small mistakes, but they get exemplified in a market like that. I think that's how most people should be looking at the last month, is more about, how many trades you took, the quality of the trades you took. Did you have any days where you just got angry and took 5 trades because you wanted to force something? Those are usually when those get highlighted a lot more in slow months, when there's not the great trades to kind of hide them. But we'll see. Going into December, I hope you guys all are ready to go to close out the year strong. I tend to look at December as like a pregame. In the NFL, they get a couple preseason games for the next year. If we're going to do this for a long time, 2025, is just a stepping stone to something bigger that we want to accomplish. And now is a great time to go out there, give me 20 days of discipline, 20 days of consistency. Usually that will mean you end up having a great month anyway, but get myself ready to go for the new year. Because the last thing I want to do is flip the page, have a blank slate on my spreadsheet, and then go into 2026 all befuddled, making a ton of mistakes and starting the year in a bad situation. So here we are, December 1st, 9:03 a.m. We do have a couple gappers. I encourage you guys to hit that thumbs up button for us. Make sure you do a quick check right now. Are you subscribed to the channel? If you are, appreciate it. Really do. Thank you. Now go recruit a couple people to come in. And if you're not, consider doing so. We're live every day the market is open. We talk about the biggest movers here in small cap land. You even get a couple minutes of therapy from us to start on some days. And, like I said, we're live every day, sometimes twice a day for Wine Wednesdays at night. We do giveaways, we do raffles, we spin the mother truck and wheel, and the more likes we get, the more we feel like we want to do more giveaways and more raffles. So subscribe to the channel. If we get to 10K anytime soon, we will do some more spinning of the wheel and giving away some stuff. So what do you say we hop right into it, Huddie? We're going to go through the biggest gappers that we see in small cap land, go through a little bit about their dilution, talk about their daily charts. I see one that's starting to rip right now, a low float, so we'll probably start there. And then if we have time towards the end, we'll answer some questions if you guys have some more daily chart questions about tickers that are maybe in play. How's that sound? Oh, that sounds great. Awesome. Amazing. Let's do it and go to AHMA. Ambitious Enterprise Management, a company out of the UAE. 3.96 million float I have. I saw it lower, I think, on my scanner. Do you have current news for what's moving it this morning?
I didn't even look. I kind of know what it is, though, and I think that's more important.
Let me know what it
why
is.
It's moving. So it's a recent IPO taker. You can obviously tell from the chart. Came out, late October on my birthday. Nice. These guys have the same underwriter as INHD. And I don't know if you can pull up a chart of INHD, but that's a ticker that I think I saw was up for a day during November. And they absolutely liquidated their stock. I think Kyle was talking about it. Not really a trade for us. Usually a pretty dangerous trade when you're dealing with these Chinese liquidation plays. I'm not saying that this one has to be a Chinese liquidation play, but when you have the same underwriter that ran the IPO, it wouldn't be the craziest thing to expect similar results. But here's the thing with them. Usually they're a little bit trappy before they unravel. So I wouldn't be surprised if it unravels today. I wouldn't be surprised if it got a little weird before that. I think in a lot of worlds, I like to avoid these types of tickers because I don't really know how weird the weird is going to get. But if it goes straight to zero, that's going to be something that I'm going to regret missing. That's for sure.
Yeah, INHD. Kyle talked about that one the day after it happened. Kind of went through it, but pretty incredible move from sub dollar to 350 and all the way back down after the fact. As Huddie was alluding to, you can see there's not really a ton of chart history here. Fresh stock, new. Even the volume today is, it's okay for a higher price, but in that 6, 7, 8 range, there's not a ton of pre-market volume. I think we're dealing with a pretty low float here in terms of the way it's moving. If you want to call it a breakout over all-time highs of 750, you can, but we're 80% higher than that right now. Been quite steady throughout the morning as the volume is kind of upticked. The swipes are quite impressive there. Just recently 1070 to 13s. It can be tough to manage risk in those situations. Are there anything here that would cause you to completely ignore as a potential gap and crapper, or anything you see right now that makes you even potentially bullish?
I'm definitely not bullish. Yeah, I mean, I think the market cap's a little high for what I like to short. So that has me kind of wanting to ignore it, and the fact that it is this Chinese liquidation underwriter, I kind of want to avoid it. And I think I can given my rules. So I might. I just think there's like safer things out there to short rather than like Chinese manipulated trash.
Yeah, whenever you kind of see this type of action anyway, low float, thin, moving quite erratically, or has the potential to move erratically, at least in pre-market. You never know what you're truly going to get when the market opens. I feel like we've seen plenty of examples where these stocks go from $5 or $6 to 15 to 20, and they fade all day really nicely. Others end up at 100 by Wednesday. But usually, if you don't really feel confident about your edge, it's not necessarily the calling the direction that I think is difficult with these types of stocks. I think it's more of just managing positions, especially if you're new, especially if you're an erratic trader yourself. These are the type of stocks that can make moves in either direction quite quickly, make it really difficult to cut your loss where you want them to, where your stops are going off. Sometimes you end up in situations where you're overholding because all of a sudden you were risking high a day and now it's $2 higher and you don't know what to do. Those are my fears with stocks like this. Day ones I tend to leave to the birds, leave to the huddies anyway of the world and let them decide where it's going. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to see a stock moving 150% this morning. I was making a watch list last night. There, we have some stuff that has moved over the last week, on good volume to get us going at where I think we have a week or two of potential in December. Which means we need some runners this week. And so I'm not saying I'm rooting against the gap and crappers. I would never say that. I'm not a mean person, but give me some runners. Let's see what AHMA has in the tank, because there's no real behavioral history or anything for me to tie to this or really feel confident about one way or the other. All I have is the data that Huddie has shared with us in the past about what should happen on day one. AHMA. There you go. Your biggest gapper of the day, up right now 138%, changing by the second. Your next biggest gapper, up a whopping 92%, is QTTB. Is that one? I didn't check before. Let me make sure it's actually a gapper. Yeah. How do you see this? 2 gappers in one day? Is the market okay?
There's also technically 2 runners that are still up from last week.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. I said if we can get one more runner or 2 more runners by Wednesday, we'll have potential. Like, I think there's a reversal coming at some point. Like, not that I like reversals in it, but it's like nice when one's coming. Like, it's exciting. Like, oh my god,
at least it can exist.
Yeah, like there is like a play coming if I want it. But QTTB, your second base gapper of the day, up around 100%. 6 million float. Biotech company out of the United States. They got some cash. They got over a year of cash left, but they are burning $9 million a quarter. 2 hours ago, they got a couple bits of news. They sell complement inhibitor ADX097 and announces establishment of rare kidney disease pipeline. Did you watch any of the market on Friday?
No.
I wasn't here either, but SMX, the crazy squeezer from Friday.
Yeah.
I was like, what is the news on this? I was trying to make my watch list last night. I went to Dilution Tracker. It was hilarious. They PR'd every 15 minutes some like Chat GPT headline of like, look at what we're doing. Look what we did. Look. And it's like every 15 to 30 minutes, the entire market day. And it is like the most blatant manipulation I've ever seen. It was just making me laugh a little bit. It was like someone was playing a joke in the PR department of like, let's just see how many times we can PR the most random things over and over again. And it was one of the first times I ever saw that. Just side note, But here we have 2 PRs at 7 a.m. on QTTB. What do you see here? What's interesting? I see medium kind of across the board in terms of potential dilution. Do you see something that's sticking out to you a little bit more like a sore thumb?
No. Maybe I did see something. Hang on. They do have an ATM for about $9 million, a shelf / ATM that they haven't tapped. So no idea if they're going to use it or not, but it's kind of there.
If it is a shelf and an ATM, does that mean they have to do something to use it? Or does it mean it's ready to go?
I don't know. I feel like that kind of says to me that you might get like a PR after hours or midday that says like an at the market offering has been inked. Like they have the ability to do that and they know they're going to do that.
Okay, going back in this chart is a biotech, so definitely has had its fair share of volatility. It was actually quite a strong stock for a while, a couple of years, and maybe some bad news. Didn't quite get to phase 2 or phase 3 of some drug process, and had a significant gap down. And pretty much all of this year has spent its time near the lows in the $1 to $3 area. If we zoom in a little bit more, you can kind of see a big volume green day back in July where the stock went from the 150 area into the high threes. Really wasn't able to do anything after that. Consolidation tested those highs on no volume and then has since faded. Let me see where that gap down high is. Looks like that's up in the sevens. So that's really all the key area we have. So the only history we have is that it had a strong green day. Wasn't even really a gap. It was more of just a run. So this is one of the bigger gaps on this daily chart. Volume is quite good. We're already at 55 million on the day for a $4 stock, over $200 million volume. Almost already fits as a gapper, Huddy. That's not 200 million. I might be lying. I'm a liar. Maybe I'm not a liar. My math, it's early. Whatever. 50 million shares already traded. Looking a little bit thicker than AHMA. Low-ish float, but not super low, not micro here with QTTB. A series of higher lows consolidating near the highs. What type of, what are you seeing when you pull this up for the first time? I get like a sense that this one is more real. I don't know why, but it doesn't really, I don't think everything else speaks to that, but that's my sense here.
It has more of like a daily chart than what we're used to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly haven't done much research into it. I just think of it as a piece of crap, low float stock, and it's going to probably maybe dump. But if it doesn't, that will surprise me. Look at the long-term daily chart. What the heck happened?
We could figure it out, but something
good. That can't be good, So I haven't read the news. I don't know what's going on. I don't care what's going on. I just think that someone is stuck from higher and might sell and bring it lower. Like that's how I look at this chart and decipher it. That's my assumption, at least.
Yeah, pretty good move so far, up almost 100%. Like I said, volume here, when you look at AHMA is the other one, I think, versus this one, ton more volume trading QTTB, a little bit more consolidation, whereas AHMA is kind of spiking pretty erratically. Two different types of stocks, both low-ish float. I don't even remember the news here. It just sounded pumpy. No big buzzwords and no important themes playing out right now. So get two gappers up around 100%. And here's QTTB. Again, there's not really a ton of history here, not a ton of, what I try to do is find, is there any reason based off of what it's done in the past to suggest that today should have similar price action? The only thing we really have is 1 day of spiking off of its lows on similar volume. We're already going to do more than that today. And so there's not really enough of a precedent for me to want to guess one way or the other. I'd rather see how it plays out, see if it's later in the day, it's still up 100% and it's done 250 million. Maybe it's something that can continue into the rest of the week. Those are your two biggest gappers by far. The next biggest one's like a chippy up 50%. And it is 9:17 already. So let me go through the chat real quick, see if we have any quick questions we can answer. And then we're going to head on over to the room and get ready for the day. keep an eye out, you 4-leaf clovers. I'm going to post my monthly recap. I know Kyle posts his on YouTube. I post mine just for the clovers. Going to be probably more lessons than anything because I think I took less than 10 trades last month. All right. Days says Dom can be my therapist. Hey, I'm not cheap. But I'll listen. A lot of people talking about how many trades they took. Not a ton of questions. Oh, here we go. CETY first green day question mark. Nope. Pretty easy. Let me go through. 1, doesn't qualify as a reversal. 2, not a multi-day run, so really not all that interested in a traditional first green day. 3, volume criteria doesn't fit because Friday was a very subpar day. Didn't run 300%, and reversals suck right now. So the last thing I want to do is play a bad pattern that isn't a pattern in a market where the pattern isn't rewarded. Those are my thoughts on CETY. I really want, after slow months and slow periods, and especially like holiday weekends in general, when everyone's kind of out taking breaks and stuff, like I want my next trade to be a good one. I want it to fit criteria. I want to feel somewhat confident that it definitely is a pattern. Right now is not the time I want to be jumping around playing stocks that kind of fit patterns, even though they aren't fully fitting criteria. Queen says, did anyone trade SMX? I didn't know it existed till like last night. My guess would be Huddie did not trade it.
No.
Unless he did it secretively.
Why would I trade that? There's not a pattern there.
That's scary.
At least not a pattern. Maybe.
I don't know what the pattern is for me. A couple people ask about SGML, and then we're getting out of here. Is this a multi-day breakout? Question mark. Is it a breakout? Yes, it is a multi-day breakout. No, I'm not interested. When I'm trading, we say the words like genetic makeup of like small cap runners a lot because those are the type of stocks that do the things that we expect them to do on days that we expect them to do them on. I don't know if this breakout on a stock that every single day trades 2 to 4 million shares, that is now trading the same 2 to 4 million shares, is going to do anything exciting. It took like 5 days for it to go from like 6 to the 11s, and that was not an easy hold in which I would have been like really excited each day to be in it. I want stocks that are trading no volume and then all of a sudden are trading massive volume. What was the second gapper? QTTB today? Look at this daily chart. This stock trades like 50,000 shares a day. No one cares. No one interested. And then all of a sudden, PR, we trade 55 million. That is the type of stock I want to buy breakouts over. That is the type of stock I want to be watching because those are the type of stocks that are going to make moves that we have seen in the past based off our years of studying that are predictable. I don't know what SGML is going to do, and I have no good understanding that this breakout is going to lead to anything predictable. So, no, I would never want to be a part of this ever. I'm not saying it can't go higher. If you want to trade it as like a swing, if you have a different plan, but when it comes to multi-day breakouts for me, I am not interested. In CYPH, someone says reversal. No, not a reversal. All right, 9:20. Let's get on out of here. Good question so far. 42 likes. Appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit it on your way out. Make sure, again, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. We get to 10K. We're going to have a little something for you guys. And so go get 2 or 3 people to subscribe to the channel. Tell them that we're live every day that the market is open. Huddie, as we kick off December, I need something special. I need something that's going to motivate us to do our best this month and close out the year strong. What is that missing piece that someone needs?
Surprise me with that.
That's part of the lure of the show.
That was huge.
Yeah, it's a big job, but you are second in command here. That's your job to come in and steal the show.
All right. I'll be better prepared tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. What if someone blows up in December 1st and they needed that information?
Don't do that.
All right. Hold on till tomorrow, guys. We will get you some motivation. We'll wait on that. But I hope you guys have a great day. Hope you have a great start to your month. It's crazy. Christmas, New Year's. Well, I guess New Year's isn't. New Year's Eve. All this month. We have snow. We have like a foot of snow. We're going to head over to the Clover room. If you ever want access to that, clovertrading.io, that's where our watch lists are every night. If you want to know what we're going to go look at to trade this morning, that's where that information lies. And let's go do it. We're out on 3. 1, 2,